This story is a dramatized adaptation based on the motives and interviews of the perpetrator from the infamous Gwacheon murder case in South Korea. I'm the youngest of two sons. I enrolled at Korea University, one of South Korea's top universities, and completed my second year before enlisting in the Air Force. After my discharge, I was preparing to return to school. Let me tell you about my family and how everything fell apart. My father tried to get into Seoul National University, the most prestigious university in South Korea, but failed. He worked for a while before studying again, eventually graduating from the Naval Academy and retiring as a lieutenant colonel. My mother graduated from Ewha Women's University, a leading women's university in South Korea, with a degree in political science and diplomacy. After they married, they pinned all their hopes on me. Especially after my father missed a promotion to colonel and retired, my mother became obsessed with my success. Now I'm an adult, but my childhood was filled with tension. Coming home from school was like stepping into a war zone. My parents' shouts and bitter arguments echoed through our apartment. As a scared kid, I'd run to my room, lock the door, and try to study. The words in my textbooks blurred, drowned out by their fighting. In high school, I was always second or third in my class, but that wasn't enough for my parents. "If you're not first, you're nothing," they'd say, their words slicing through me. I'll never forget my mother's icy voice. "We don't need a useless son like you." Those words clung to me, eroding my confidence. My father was even more distant, a strict military man who lived by rules. He treated me like a soldier under his command. His cold stare made me shrink. My mother wouldn't let me sleep until I solved over 100 problems each night. I'd sit at my desk, tears falling, my hand trembling as it held the pencil. Sleep was a dream I couldn't have. My older brother was different. Outgoing and bold, he stood up to our parents. But I was quiet and introverted, bottling up their verbal abuse. The anger and helplessness grew inside me, but I couldn't let it out. To my parents, only Seoul National University was good enough. When I got into Korea University instead, their criticism got worse. "Korea University? That's all?" My mother scoffed. Home wasn't home anymore. It was a cage. My brother left home after starting university. My mother, desperate, apologized to him and even bought him an apartment. I thought it was fine at first, but then I found out they'd taken out a loan in my name to pay for it. That broke me. Rage surged inside. For the first time, I screamed at my mother. "Why did you use my name for a loan? You never even packed me a lunch as a kid, and now you blame me for everything." She smirked and said, "Go check yourself into a mental hospital." Those words ripped me apart. Life became unbearable. Every night I stared at the ceiling, sleepless. Anger and despair twisted together in my mind. I couldn't take it anymore. One day, a terrible thought took hold. I would kill my parents. It started as a spark but grew into a fire that consumed me. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. That night, the house was silent, but my heart pounded like a drum. I drank half a bottle of whiskey. The alcohol dulled my fear, but my anger burned brighter. I grabbed a hammer and crept to my mother's room. She was asleep, her face faintly lit by moonlight slipping through the curtains. Her cruel words echoed in my head. I raised the hammer, my hands shaking. Anger took over. The hammer fell with a heavy thud, the sound ringing in the quiet room. She didn't scream. Blood spread across the floor. I dragged her body to the bathroom, my breath ragged, and laid it on the cold tiles. Then I went to my parents' bedroom. My father was fast asleep, his face as stern as ever. I raised the hammer again. Memories of his cold glares from my childhood flashed before me. The second killing was easier. I dragged his body to the bathroom too. The smell of blood stung my nose, but my mind was strangely calm. All I could think about was how to get rid of the bodies. I decided to dismember them. In the bathroom, I grabbed a hacksaw. The sound of the blade cutting through flesh was sickening. My hands were slick with blood, my breathing uneven, but I kept going. I cut the bodies into over 20 pieces and stuffed them into black trash bags. I scrubbed the room and bathroom clean, buying detergent from a nearby store to erase the blood stench. Over 2 days, I dumped the bags in trash bins and incinerators around Gwacheon, a small city near Seoul, in places like Gyeongyangdong's Central Park and Galhyundong's waste facility. Each time I dropped a bag, my pulse raced, but I felt no guilt. Instead, a wave of freedom hit me. A voice in my head whispered, "You're finally free." One morning, a loud knock woke me. I opened the door to find police officers. They said body parts were found in trash bins at Gyeongyangdong's Central Park, and an incinerator in Galhyundong identified as my parents. My fingerprints were on the bags. A security guard saw me leaving with trash bags, and they found bloodstains and a 30-inch hacksaw at home. I denied everything at first, but the evidence crushed me. "I had no choice," I mumbled. For the first time, regret flooded in. The weight of what I'd done hit me like a tidal wave. I was charged with murdering my parents and abandoning their bodies. The first trial sentenced me to death, but the appeals court reduced it to life in prison, which the Supreme Court upheld. I'm now serving my sentence. Killing my parents is an unforgivable crime. But this story shows how a toxic family and years of emotional abuse can push someone to the edge.